man, resiliency is a big part, bro. I think I've seen so many people just crash and burn when they get that no.
Well, also you gotta have a lot of confidence in yourself. You
Gotta
know,
have that ego.
yeah. Like shout out to Kanye West. You know, Kanye West kind of is the poster child for having
For
your
sure.
ego. So because otherwise they're gonna crush you. So you got to know that you're so dope, almost to a delusional level.
Russ said that in his book.
You know, even if you're like maybe your stuff ain't what it is, but if you believe it, then the world will believe it. Hence,
You
some
gotta
stuff blow up. You're like, how did that blow up? You know,
right.
like how did that? They like that people, but yeah, they believe it, and they found their audience, they found their crowd. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, don't let nobody shake you, and don't have no fear. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the rejection.
When you want to see, trying to get it, be.
Beat the fee.
I can't freestyle. That's one thing I can never do. Freestyle.
Freestyling, in my opinion, is like lifting weights. It's about practice. You gotta get reps in. That's all. And the goal is to make it as good as a written. So you don't want to be overly silly, and because anybody can put rhyme words together.
Right.
But it's about trying to make it as if you're writing a rap on the spot. So you want to make it sound clever, but it's about reps on practice.
Okay.
Yeah. So but
7-minute drills.
Sort of, but if you got to be rapper though, like if you really rap, then yeah, you can work on it. But if you don't got no rap skills, then you just don't even try. But if you got some rap skills, you can practice freestyling and build that muscle up, and just learn how to like get the patterns and the flows in your reflex, I guess. Well, what's the word for reflex? In your mental Rolodex, to where it just comes out. But it's about practice though.
Okay.
I would sit on the phone. I had homies in high school that were MCs. We would just on the phone, and we would just freestyle for hours on the phone just to sharpen our skills. Because the goal was to be your freestyle to sound as good as your written.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the goal. To have your freestyle sound just like you wrote it.
Dang.
Yeah,
I was very good at actually writing the raps on, paper and stuff, but not
I mean,
freestyling.
in my opinion, you got the ability to freestyle if you work at it.
Yeah. I guess it's like any.
I guess if you're inclined to do it.
I guess it's like any type of discipline. You know what I'm saying? If you practice it, then you'll get better at it. Like playing the piano or riding the bike, but riding a motorcycle.
It takes courage too. It takes courage too, because you got to be. Of course, you're gonna do it in front of people, and you got to be willing to like mess up. I saw Lupe Fiasco freestyling on Sway in the Morning a couple weeks ago, and it was a real freestyle. But it sounded like the quality of the rhyme patterns and the flows and the bars were as if he wrote it down. And that's how you want to be.
I can tell if somebody's freestyling because what I hear the most is yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but the better you are though. Fun fact, my favorite Snoop Dogg song is the Shiznit from Doggy Style album. Yeah. That whole song was a freestyle.
Really?
The whole thing, yeah. And I knew it for years.
No, I didn't know that.
I knew it because you can kind of tell, but Drake confirmed it a few years ago. He confirmed that Snoop just freestyled the whole song.
I can probably hear it. If I go back and listen to the Shiznit, I can probably hear it.
You can hear it, but you can also hear the skill, the flow, the rhyme patterns. It was dope. It was just as dope as a written.
Right.
Popping like a rabbit. When I got the thing to rush, and he literally killing it, but it was all off top of the head. You can tell because it wasn't really no subject matter behind it. He was just kind of just like talking like
the Snoop Dogg
is something tight like a virgin. The surgeon is Dr. Trizay. So Lizzie and Plizzy with the double jizzy, the fly human being seen. No, I'm not European being all I can. So he literally just going off top of his head.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know that.
What I'm saying? Yeah, but that's the thing though. Back in the 90s, I hate to sound like the old dude, but
back in the 90s.
But I mean, like, lyricism was a thing where you wanted your freestyles to sound just as good as your written, and that's a perfect example. You got a classic rap record, my favorite Snoop record of all time, and he literally freestyled the whole thing. If
Doggy,
you notice,
it's Doggy Style.
On Doggy Style,
yeah, Doggy Style is.
If you notice, there's no like background vocals on there. There's no like ad libs because it's a freestyle. You know what I'm saying? Unless he had to go and learn it and then go back later and add ad libs. But on the spot, it's no stacks, there's no nothing because it's just a one take freestyle. So
nice.
And it was 3 verses on there.
Give it up to Snoop. I didn't know Snoop had freestyle skills like that.
Listen, man, I wish somebody could look this up. Snoop Dogg. Nowadays, it doesn't seem like it, but Snoop Dogg at one time was like a super lyricist. He was like a hardcore rapper. You know what I'm saying? He won like the Source, I think, Lyricist of the Year once.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta go look that up.
Do your history.
I gotta look that up.
You should know. We were both alive around that time. Like I was in high school. And Snoop was crazy with the pen, but now he has writers and all this stuff now. But like he earned his stripes as a cold lyricist. You know what I'm saying, back in the day. But yeah, man, freestyling is
that's what's up, man.
It's amazing, man.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? Eminem got a couple freestyles that are legendary off the top of his head.
The whole 8 Mile was like
that was the Detroit rap culture. That's what I came up in.
Right.
That was the culture back then. At the hip hop shop. I mean, it was a lot of monsters, man, in Detroit when I was coming up, man. I remember going to some of these battles, just thinking, and I thought I was in my school, my middle school, my high school, I was like always the best. I would go to some of these places, man, and be like, okay, like I might as well just give it up.
Oh, let me back it up a little bit.
These jokers, man, was crazy. So yeah, shout out to people who really freestyle.
Shout out to the freestyle people, man,
and work on those skills. Again, it's like a muscle. The more you work on it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
Man, look, I'm excited, bro. I want to talk about this merch.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be available sometime soon as the store gets up, right?
Okay.
But the merch is popping, right? Like I got the bucket hat today. Well, it didn't come today. It came a while ago. But I got the bucket hat with the Indie Unplugged on it.
Okay.
I got the Indie Unplugged shirt in black. I got a white shirt, a white hat. Yo, we even got, look, check this out.
That mug is serious.
We even got the Indie Unplugged mug. It has water in it right now because I don't want to spill it. But the Indie Unplugged mugs, now I mean, like, hey, we represent the brand.
That's cool than a mug.
That's cool. That's cool than a mug. But you know what I'm saying? I can't be the only one that got an Indie Unplugged shirt. You know what I mean? Like I can't be the only person.
Okay.
B gotta rock the Indie Unplugged shirt too.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like
most definitely. So, next week.
Next show.
You feel me?
Indie Unplugged show.
Indie Unplugged.
He got the shirt.
I appreciate it, B.
Hey, we gotta represent the merch. I think that was the biggest. I listened to an interview one time with 50 Cent.
Okay.
And he said something about G Unit, and one of the issues that the reason why G Unit kind of fell off the way that it did, they had the G Unit sneakers, shirt, they had a whole brand,
clothing brand, yeah.
Is that all the other individuals, Yayo, Banks, didn't really want to wear G Unit stuff. They wanted to wear other stuff. 50 is like, man, this is our brand. Y'all need to be wearing this stuff. And they were like, nah, man, we want to wear, Nikes and good. And I get it though. I do get it. Like, I heard Wendy Day, she was on another podcast, and she asked the people on the podcast, was like, y'all got merch? And they were like, we're working on it. And I had to sit back for a moment and go, wow. And this platform is at a certain space right now where they're bigger as far as an audience perspective. And they didn't even have merch. And I'm like, oh, y'all should definitely have merch. It's easy to just purchase your own merch and then wear it on your show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or give it away or do something, have giveaways for merch so people can start rocking it and things like that. But the goal is I want to set up a store where people can purchase it.
Set it up.
They can support and rock the different merch for the Indie Unplugged.
Let's go.
But yeah, I got the bucket hat. I was like, oh shoot, they got a bucket hat?
Yeah, come on, LL Cool J. That's
right.
LL Cool
Speaking
J.
of LL Cool J, man, like I saw the Murdergram video. I finally saw the Murdergram video. That mug was hard.
That's hard.
Bro.
He created the album.
The album cover for Bad. In the beginning, I was like, yo, that's the Bad album cover right there.
Yeah.
That was dope. Murdergram was dope. And then a friend of mine sent me a
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Who got the better verse on that? Eminem or LL Cool J?
I gotta say, LL had LL ripped it, bro. Yes.
I actually agree with that, and I'm a big Eminem, Detroit, but I think it's close. But I think LL got him slightly. LL got him by a hair. I'm gonna give it to LL. I'm just curious about that because everybody, all the Eminem fans say Eminem got him. Nah, I think LL kind of got that one by a little bit though.
But see, my issue with Eminem is he's a lyrical monster, but sometimes he puts things in his raps that, to me, sometimes don't make sense. Like when he rapped Jamie Lee Curtis with egg beater thermos. I was like, okay, I don't know how I really feel about Jamie Lee Curtis, egg beater thermos. I was like, but see, I'm not feeling about that.
I don't know what song that is. That's funny.
It's the song he did with Rihanna. Okay. When he was like, I'm the butt police and I'm looking at your rear. Bro.
What?
Yes, sir. I was like, he said, I'm the butt police.
That's
and
funny.
I'm looking at your rear. I was
but you know what? I will say
it was mad clever though.
I will say this though, man. I hate to criticize him because it's my hometown hero, man. So I think people from Detroit, they don't give him enough praise because from our city, we had nobody coming up in the rap game. Nobody. I mean, zero crickets, man. Come on the national level.
From a rap perspective.
And he put us on the map, man. And 8 Mile, you know the whole thing was filmed in Detroit. Yeah. When they was normally going to film stuff in Canada and all that. And he made sure it was filmed in Detroit. And so I'd never say nothing bad about him. But I will say, like, he's at a point now where he's so lyrical. Like 1 out of 4 metaphors are like kind of corny. His ratio is getting a little higher as far as like, why would you say that? Like, it's like 1 out of every 4, but the other 3 be correct, be like on point. But he sliding in a couple. It's like,
I was like,
you could have kept that.
Jamie Lee Curtis, egg beater thermos.
I don't know, but
I was like, I don't know what that one is.
But listen, man, M is
he's a lyrical. He is a lyrical monster.
But
LL did have the.
I think LL got him by a little bit.
He did. I would say he got him on that one.
They're both going at it, but I would say because LL kind of like. It kind of reminds me of Game. Game was one of my favorite rappers. Mm-hmm. People accuse Game of like changing styles a lot, but what Game does so masterfully, in my opinion, he'll get on a record with somebody, take their style, and kind of beat them at their style. He'll do their style better than them on the record. He's done that for years, And they say, "Oh, why he get on there copying so and so?" His name was The Game. He tried playing the game. So
the game.
I think LL came and did that Eminem fast rap and kind of beat him at it. Beat him at it. You know what I'm saying? So he came in this world and kind of took the style and kind of like back in the day. Some folks, I don't agree with this, but some folks said that Biggie did that with Bone and Biggie when they did the collaboration. They said that Biggie rapped fast and out rapped, but I still think Busy probably had the best verse on there. But
that's the thing when you have artists who get on songs together.
Yeah,
they try to outdo each other. I mean, like if it's your record I'm coming on, I'm definitely gonna try to outdo you on every verse that I got, every word, every syllable. I'm trying to come at you with everything.
See, it's one thing to do that, but it's another thing to kind of do that and say, I'm gonna do it in your style. Like you got to distinct way you doing it. So I'm gonna go grab that and beat you doing that. Like I'm gonna take your weapon and shoot you with your own weapon. You know what I'm saying?
And then beat you down with your own weapon.
So people say that Biggie did that with Bone, and I kind of like, I don't know if I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But Biggie did like switch up his style and like ripped it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm then dangerous. Then they can't hang with us. Label us notorious. You know what I'm saying? That's,
That song was dope too.
Biggie did his thing on there, man. So it's dope when you can take somebody's style. And Game does it all the time. He gets criticized for it, but I think it's dope. You know what I'm saying?
And then a friend of mine was like, yo, you seen this new Ice Cube video? You seen that?
I seen it.
What do you think about it? What you think about
my ego. I love it, man.
You love it?
I love it. I love the song. You know what I'm saying? I love it, man.
So the comment was, he was like, older rappers got to come hard because look at what LL just put out. And then Ice Cube just put this out. And it don't even come close to what LL just put out.
It's Ice Cube.
And I think it was just different.
Yeah, Ice Cube was staying on brand. Which one
right.
Oh, fast rapping?
Like, right. Look, we want that Ice Cube back in the day. The America KKK.
Well, let me tell you
that's
something.
The Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, like, lyrically, Ice Cube ain't what he used to be.
Lynch Mob.
Lyrically, Ice Cube is not what he used to be. I'm going to go ahead and say that. He's not what he used to be lyrically. He's just not. But he's still dope. And the song is classic to me. It's classic Ice Cube, you know what I'm saying? Just kicking game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I saw him on $1 million worth of game with Gillo and Wiley. And he was explaining like the song in the video about like, you know, how everybody, it's okay to have a little bit of ego sometimes. It's okay to to have confidence in yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what the song is about. Him just kind of like saying, look, I'm Ice Cube. I'm a West Coast legend and I'm running this thing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to do nothing to stop me.
Bow down.
Basically. So man, I think that like that particular criticism that you said, I think is kind of like, listen, man, I still don't understand why people go online and like have something negative to say. How come you just can't keep scrolling? Why you got to jump in and just say something negative? If you don't got anything positive to say, just keep scrolling, in my humble opinion.
Right.
Especially when you ain't accomplished what the other person, because now you're looking like a hater. You're looking like a hater. You're looking like somebody that should be a congratulator because you want to get on that level too.
Man, be a congratulator, not a hater.
Yeah, so people that want to get on post and just say negative things, I think it's lame. I think it's
especially
lame.
if you don't have any, it's kind of the things that you've been talking about, having credentials or played the game or have any investment or stock into actually doing what they were doing to be able to criticize. You know,
I loved Ego Record. I loved it. The video was funny.
I thought the video was funny. It reminded me of old Ice Cube when you know the kind of jokey side Ice Cube, but
like
it was
Friday,
I thought it was
all about the Benjamin. So I liked it, and again, I'm a big champion for rappers to keep rapping.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? I saw Jelly Roll. I'm just kind of talking. We can get to.
No,
I saw Jelly Roll do an interview with Bootleg Kev, and he was talking about how like he just didn't want to rap no more. You know, Jelly Roll used to be a rapper.
I didn't know that.
He started off as a rapper.
That's why I'm just sitting here like
he started off as like I knew about Jelly Roll because I was with Willpower and Yellow Wolf, and he kind of come from that Nashville, that whole kind of scene. So I knew who Jelly Roll was, but he was a rapper. He was a decent rapper, you know. Well, and actually he had a cult. He had a cult fan base underground, and he was talking about how like a lot of his day one fans come up to him and want him to rap. And he's like, man, I'm past that. I'm kind of don't. And
past that.
See, I'm a rapper's rapper. I gotta love MCing. Now, let me say this too, because I kind of see where you're going with this. In Jelly Roll's case, Jelly Roll is not a culture vulture because he never blew up off rap. Like he literally, a culture vulture is when you take rap, you get success, and now and then you leave it. You
and
go
then you leave it and you dump it and you say, oh, that was just that thing I did to get, you know.
But rap never really got him nowhere. He didn't go nowhere until he started singing country. And then he blew up. So in his case, like, I can't fault him for not wanting to rap no more because it didn't take him nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But the MC in me, rap fan in me, was like, that'd be so cool if we just showed them, hey y'all.
Like, I'm about to drop these bars real quick.
Like, y'all know, because when he talks, he's very knowledgeable about hip hop. He's a big hip hop fan. Like, he has credentials. And it would be cool to show the world, like, look, I can really spit, y'all. Boom. His whole thing was that, you know, he's rapping about selling drugs, selling crack. He's like, I don't do none of that no more. So, like, and I'm like, I'm 40-something.
And I'm going to rap about.
So what I'm going to talk about, like.
Geritol?
Yeah.
Geritol.
He even referenced Andre 3000 when he was explaining it. But even then, I'm like, I'm a big fan of people just rapping when they're older. I'm big, and maybe because I'm getting older and I'm like, still rapping. So maybe I'm kind of like, I think it's a lane for that.
My thing is, I don't mean to cut you off. My thing is, I don't think there's an age limit on the ability to rap. There's probably an age limit, as people say, on the success, the commercial success of being a rapper, being signed to a label and achieving commercial success from a label perspective. Right, it's being signed to a label, they pushing your product, you getting into the face of the masses, but you can still rap regardless of what age. You can still sing, you can still rap, you can play the banjo. It doesn't matter. You can produce.
I think a lot of people don't want to like be less successful than they were.
True,
because of their ego again, right? Because they don't want to like quote unquote flop. They don't want to do it. Like LL's album was critically acclaimed, but it didn't do. I think it's 20-something thousand the first week or something like that. Like, it's not up there competing with like the Kendrick Lamars or Tyler the Creators, these rappers who, you know, Metro Boomin, Future. But it was critically, you know, praised. And I think the market is filled with younger consumers.
Mm-hmm.
So
true,
but it's still if it's good music, it's good music, and
if you love it,
and if you're somebody who ain't blew up yet, up and comer, yeah, you might not be as big as Sexy Red, but like if you're doing what you love and you can follow this podcast, follow the stuff we talking about, you can make a living for yourself doing what you love to do. So I'm an advocate of people like just pushing the limit. So for me, I would love to hear more Andre 3000 raps. I want Jay-Z to put out another album. You know what I'm saying? Because Jay-Z ain't put out an album in a while. I want to hear that, And again, I would love to hear Jelly Roll. That'd be so dope for him to say, look, y'all, this is what I really do. And anybody else, just rap. Rap.
Look,
I'm a hip hop. I'm a rapidy rap. I love rap.
Rapidy rap.
I love bars. You know what I'm saying?
The thing.
I love lyrics, and I just want everybody who know how to do it, who love to do it, don't be afraid to do it. Just do it.
Look, here's the thing. It has to come from a place of I love to do this, right? Because an older rapper who was successful younger may not have the same commercial success as they once did. But do you love doing what you do? Do you love the art of rapping? And if you do, and you love putting out great music, and you still have a fan base that wants to hear your music, regardless of anything else, still rap, right? You're right. I mean, myself, if I decided to start rapping today, will I become famous? Will I blow up? Probably not. But if I love to do that particular discipline, whether it's rapping, singing, putting out albums, making beats, or whatever the case is, these are things that you continuously do. If you love it, you should do it.
Like I saw T.I. in an interview recently say that like he's got a performance, I think at Atlanta's like Holiday Ball or something like that, and it was gonna be his last performance. He's not performing no more and all that. And it's kind of like just like maybe I can tell he don't really love it no more, and it's kind of like disappointing. Like damn, like.
But then they just win like a judgment or a settlement, or like I ain't got to rap no more. I just won 170 million. I don't know how much it was, but
and that's also disappointing though, because it's like, so were you doing it just for financial means?
I think
I'm not
majority
mad
of them
at
doing it for
I'm not mad at that, but
financial
but
means.
To me, Tip is like one of the best rappers from the South ever.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably like top 5, not top 3 lyricists from the South. It's Scarface, Tip.
Because you got a lot of people.
Andre 3000
in the South.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of the best lyricists from the South, period. And he's somebody else who had like a dip in commercial success. He was selling crazy numbers, and he had a little dip, and and it's like, okay, did that discourage him? Because some people, if they can't do it at the heights they used to do it, they just say, you know what, I'm walking away.
I'm not gonna do it at all, and without realizing that they can still do it and still be in the public eye and still achieve a certain level of success.
If you love it.
But
if it's just about a money grab or if it's an ego thing where I want to like just be the biggest one in the world, then I'm gonna bow down.
That's right.
And it's kind of like, dang, so I've been hearing all this stuff, but then you got people like LL Cool J or Ice Cube now, and then even with Ice Cube, they had the group.
Well, Snoop got an album coming out.
Snoop's always putting out albums, man, and he got the Death Row, October London. He doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? He bringing back the East Siders got an album just came out, or EP just came out, the Dogg Pound. So I love to see this stuff. I love to see all this stuff being pushed forward. And
yo, wait, hold up. You know who came out with? I don't even know when this song came out, but I was scrolling through YouTube one day, and I saw this song with Ghostface and Method Man.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was. Oh gosh, it reminded me of that Wu-Tang when I heard that. I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan.
Me too. Man.
It reminded me of that Wu-Tang when I heard. I was like, yo, and Meth was on there. He was killing it. Had the Meth on the shirt, and your man Tony Starks came on there with the Ghostface came on there with the mask and the bees flying around and the big fur coat. I was like, oh, this is classic Wu-Tang. Yeah. But the beat was crazy. Was incredible. The lines were incredible. The bars were incredible.
One thing about the Wu though, they always be active, man, as far as members putting out stuff. So who knows what song that was, because They be so active, man.
They be so active.
You ever wonder how your favorite songs end up in movies, TV shows, and commercials? Discover the magic behind the scenes with Sync Masters, the ultimate series on sync licensing. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of sync, highlighting the talented artists and the music that make it all happen. Each episode offers a deep dive into the journeys of these creators, from their first steps to their biggest sync placements. Hear their stories, learn about the challenges they've overcome, and get inspired by their unique insights. Don't miss out on the secrets to mastering the art of sync licensing. Catch Sync Masters exclusively on We Create Music TV. Head over to wecreatemusic.tv and watch now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Indie Unplugged.
What up, though?
You know what I mean? Like, man, it's been a minute, so probably a lot to catch up on. But today I kind of wanted to sit back and talk about practical things that indie artists, producers, musicians can do to, I guess I don't want to keep saying take it to the next level, right? But really apply some of these principles and practices to what they do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, indie artists have, and we kind of classify the difference between indie artists for those who were assigned to a label and now they're indie, and those who may be like us, who are purely indie and trying to make it within this music industry, and who may not have the same amount of capital as the indie artists who were coming from a major and things like that. So to kind of give a breakdown of just some of the topics, and I really sat back for a while and kind of thought about some of these things. I want to talk 4 things I want to talk about. Number 1 is the financial side of being an independent artist, because man, y'all know, from being out in the music world, it costs money to really be an artist. So I want to spend time talking about the financial side of being an independent artist. I do want to talk about how to handle rejection and criticism in music when someone says no, or someone closes the door in your face, and that opportunity closes itself off. I do want to talk about how do you build a brand as an artist. Now, I'm not a marketing major, right? That's not what I do, but I do want to talk about how can a person start to build their brand as an artist, as a musician, producer. And then I want to talk about effective email marketing strategies that people can use. Now, I'm by no means a marketing email guru. There are some things that I've learned. I'm sure, B, there's things that you've learned through trial and error. And I just kind of want to sit and talk about just some practical things that they can do, especially from the financial side. Because we know in this industry, it takes money. This is one of the industries that I've been in outside of videography and cinematography and, cameras, that it costs a lot of money to play in the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it may be the same as art and all those different things. But for me, when I look at things like music production and being an artist, and also being like a cinematographer or a videographer, photographer, something like that, it costs a lot of money to be in that space. And the big question is how does an artist, producer, musician acquire funds in order to be able to fund their career at the level that they truly want? Because a lot of times we may not get the label support. Getting signed nowadays is like, it's a rarity, right? Even for people back then, it's rare for people just to get signed like that in that capacity. And so some people make it through connections, some people make it through hard work. But how does the regular, everyday indie artist get money to fund their career?
Well,
that's a big thing.
I think the easiest way is like LaRussell always says, the rapper LaRussell from the Bay Area, he always says your job is your investor.
For sure.
Your first investor anyway. And just to kind of back up a little bit, having some kind of investor, whether it's grandma or your uncle, auntie, or some rich person that you met at the golf course or something like that. I don't know, but you got to have a budget. First of all, a budget and some kind of investment flow of cash. Some people, who have good credit will get a big credit card.
Right.
Even with that though, even if you're going to go that route, you still got to manage the payments on that thing. And and manage whatever the limit is, how you gonna disperse it, because you don't want to blow all your wad, But that goes back to the budget.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say, man, you got to hustle, man. Your job is your investor, And if you got a job that, you can barely make your ends meet, so you don't have any extra cash flow, then you got to do something extra. I mean, you might want to DoorDash or Uber on the side, but you got to have a budget and you got to be willing to fund it yourself. That's the baseline.
Yeah, I think that's the baseline as far as establishing a budget, right? I mean, does an artist know how much it's actually going to cost in order to be in this industry? I mean, I guess you have to
educate yourself.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Is educate.
Absolutely.
That's what we try to do, right? Educate yourself
before you start spending the money. Because the last thing you want to do is blow this money on something and the money's gone and you made the wrong move.
That's right.
Now, even with all the right information, you can still make the wrong move because a lot of it's a guessing game. You just got to, okay, well, do you want to put most of the money in the creation of the product? Mm-hmm. You want to put it in the promotion of the product? How you promote it? You want to promote it online? Do you want to, where are you promoting it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different, it's so many ways that can just eat up your money. This is so funny we having this conversation because we're supposed to interview somebody today. And that person we're supposed to interview, I was going to ask this person all these questions down this line to enlighten us. Because some of this stuff you need to know because...
Oh, we're still going to get that chance though.
Because a lot of people online claim to be gurus and want to take your money to give you information. And a lot of it, I think it may be scams. So you don't want to spend your money on people who say they could do stuff for you or teach you stuff or help you with stuff in the music industry, and you end up with nothing because you gave your money to somebody who has some kind of course or some kind of plug on streams.
Yeah.
And okay, what?
For sure.
So you just got to really educate yourself, and you got to kind of know where to spend your money, and don't fall for like some of these scams because people know you hungry to blow up. People know that you want to, and they'll take advantage of that.
They'll absolutely take advantage of that, for sure.
Please, educate yourself and don't just throw your money. That's why I say you got to educate yourself because you got to know where's the best place to put the money, And what are my objectives? Am I trying to get streams? Am I trying to gain fans? Am I trying to just build a brand? Because you can spend thousands just building a brand, just kind of like create awareness of who you are.
Exactly.
You ain't really selling nothing, but your name is getting out there. And brand building is like a long game. It's a long game, and you just want to be in their mind when they say, like, let's say you got a positive inspirational rap.
So I'm going to cut you off. So like I sent you that text. So I was on a plane going to St. Louis, and I met two guys on the plane. They had this shirt on. And I was like, yo, what do you do? He said, oh, we're in artist management. And they named the artists that they work with. And they said, well, we're based out of Houston. I was like, okay, cool. Anytime somebody tells me they're based out of some place, I'm always asking, do they know certain people? I'm like, okay, cool. Do you know Derek McKinney? He's the CEO of Loud Music, Loud Fest out in Houston. Oh, yeah. We absolutely know who Derek is. Okay, cool. That's what's up. They were like, what do you do? And I said, I am the host and creator of We Create Music TV. And they were like, yo, we know We Create Music TV. And for me, it's always that, oh, you do?
That's dope.
Wow. Well, how did you know about it? Like, where did that come from? Whether it comes from being on YouTube or seeing interviews, or because Derek was on the show, so they may have seen it through, Derek's interview. But it still was like, wow, that's part of the brand. It is a very long game. You got to be very strategic, which is why we got this merch, right?
Absolutely.
So that when I go or B goes to places, we represent the brand. And so
you want to pop up. You want to pop up like when you see the arch from McDonald's. You see the arch, you automatically know. You don't even got to say McDonald's.
That's right.
And you're thinking of like the food automatically.
Automatically.
You're making
and you get hungry.
Yeah, you're making a connection, and that's a very, very long game, but. Yeah, so do you want to spend money on that? Because that's like a never-ending pit of money there, right? Yeah. With non-tangible results. But it's important to do. Do you want to spend, are you trying to like just flip money? Do you want to say, you know what? I need to make some money, so I'm going to spend money on this merch. I'm going to put this song out, and I'm going to try to sell 100 t-shirts, So you just you gotta know what you're doing with the money, but be thoughtful ahead of time. Don't just like come up with an idea tonight and spend the money tomorrow.
Right.
Come with an idea tonight and take a few weeks to flesh it out and make sure it's the right thing to do. And I advise you to plan 6 months out, 12 months out.
For sure. Me too.
With your spending.
That's right.
I'm gonna spend this X amount of money for 12 months. That way you can kind of know where the money gonna come from for the 12 months. Or somebody who wants to invest in you, okay, this is what I'm gonna do with this money for the next 12 months.
That's right. Because trust me, when people invest in other people, they want to know what the plan of action is going to be for the investment that they're going to give you.
And what the returns going
to be. And there's always has to be some type of ROI, right? Return on investment.
And do you even know how to calculate that? Or is it like a wish? I'm going to get signed and I'm going to give you half the advance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to know what that is, right? So I definitely agree. Budgeting, planning is key in the very beginning, right? Really just sitting down and saying, okay, what is my budget? Where do I want to allocate the funds, right? Financial literacy is such a big part of this. And a lot of people don't want to go get financially literate. It's like, but it's a business that you're in. And if you are owning a business because you own whatever that brand is, that business is, why would you not want to understand financial literacy, how to budget appropriately, how to market appropriately, right? How to plan and organize. Budgeting is very, very key. And that helps you to determine where all of your income is going to go. Like line item. Hey, I'm going to spend this much here. I'm going to spend this much here. And there's tools to help you do that, right? You got Intuit, you got QuickBooks, you got Excel documents that you can download from Excel that is to give you budgeting templates and things like that. You just got to go in and type in different things. And you can go to YouTube. Maybe we'll do a whole financial thing with it. I do know a guy whose background is finances, and that's what he used to do. Maybe we'll bring him on and kind of talk about that. But it takes money in order to be able to be inside this game and to do it well. You have to determine what your income streams are. I love the fact that, and I view it the same way, that my job is my investor. So, and that's how people should see it, is that you're working your job, yes, to pay your bills, to have your livelihood, but how can you use your job to invest into the things that you want to accomplish? This whole setup was from the job. All these cameras, lights, from the job, right? Everything that I've purchased, NPCs from the job. They have been my biggest investor. Then the thing is, I have to be a good steward of the money that they've given me so that I can reap some type of financial return so that it's not solely just on the investor anymore. It can still be there because it is still there, but I still have to have other income streams coming in that can help financially in what I'm trying to do.
And if you're older with responsibilities, this is the reason why a lot of people talk about the older rapper. If you're 30 trying to rap, they say all that because sometimes people get foolish and they want to skip out on responsibilities because they want to be a rapper or a singer or whatever. Mm-hmm. No, if you got a spouse, you got children, that has to come first. So you have to go the extra mile. Like
that's right.
You got child support, whatever, that must be paid first. If you have to go get a second job to fund your career, that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do.
Or, well, I'm going to be tired. Well, you don't want to do this then. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because there's never an excuse for not taking care of your responsibilities.
That's right.
Ever. And the older you get, we talk about trying to break into stuff when you're older. It's just the reality.
It's the reality.
You got to take care of responsibilities. So you may have to get a second job. We may have to Uber or DoorDash from the side, which is fine, but get the money however you got to get it. But have a monthly spending for your music and just put it in your budget after you take care of your responsibilities.
That's right.
It might be $500 a month. Okay. What can I do with $500 a month? How can I shake something with $500 a month? You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Maybe if you're focused on branding, maybe you're running some Google ads, some YouTube ads, things like that. There are companies out there that are legitimate that you can use to grow your
and that's
base.
nothing. That's nothing. But some of us, sometimes you might be broke, but you gotta. I say at least start with $500.
At least
$500. you know, you maybe work a little bit of overtime at your job, or maybe you DoorDash that for a month, you know, figure it out. And that's assuming that you can DIY the music part, which is, again, quality.
We talked about that,
yeah,
right?
So
that quality.
It's real tough to break in, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. You feel what I'm saying? True. But I say start somewhere and like be consistent with that. Spend that money consistently, figure out and study the ROI every month. Okay. What kind of dividends did this pay in terms of like exposure? Is my brand growing? Am I getting more followers? Are my streams going up? You know, measure it some kind of way. Am I getting more performances? And then maybe you can up that 500 if you're getting some revenue in. You can up it, and because to me, I think to really make it, you're gonna spend tens of thousands every month, probably.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But the flip side is if you're doing it right, you're getting that and more back in revenue, so you can sustain it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can find many different avenues. The question is, do people want to do those avenues, those additional income streams? I mean, they actually have. So there's a person that I follow, and she follows me, and she talks about grants and funding for independent artists. It's the Friendship Society is her Instagram handle. I think it's a Friendship Society, and she made this post that there are actual grants and funding that exists for independent artists. Now, you can't just go up there and they just give you the money. I mean, it's a grant, right? So what do you have to do? You have to go through and write out your plan and talk about what your actions are going to be from a business perspective, and then you submit all of the information, and then you either get the grant or you don't get the grant, or you get the funding or you don't get the funding. And you may or may not know how to write one of those business plans. Research it. Like, it is the thing that gets me the most is that this is an actual business. And a lot of times people don't take the time to learn the business side of it. And if you are willing to learn the business side of it, then you're going to be more successful than you thought you could have been. I did an interview with Leon Cosby III, right? And so in that interview, he talked about that. He said, man, I wish people would just spend more time on the business. He said that way they would know how to maneuver within the music industry. They understand how things work from a business perspective. And that is true with any business, with anything that you do. I mean, if you want to be a videographer, trust me, there's a business side to it. There's the obtainment of clients, there's invoicing, there's expenditures, there's, profit and loss of things, that whether I'm purchasing things or spending money out on certain things, software, editing, whatever the case. It's same thing with music. You have to understand what that looks like and understand the financial cost is going to, because it is going to be a burden. I think people think, well, I'm just going to get into the music industry and I'm just going to spend some money. And I don't personally think it happens that way. I think you have to be very focused, very determined, very purposeful with what you do in this industry from that perspective.
Yeah, you'll learn as you go, but you got to at least have some type of like baseline of information.
For sure.
You're starting with.
For sure.
And, stuff like We Create Music TV, sign up, get the resources, go to conferences, YouTube University, like immerse yourself with information, but be careful who you listen to as well, though.
That's the big thing, is that there are so many. I think that was one of the topics we had talked about a while ago, was how do we measure the validity of someone who gives advice within the music industry? How do we know that this person is valid?
Because when you look at a lot of these courses, you find that like their main income is selling these courses, and you want their main income to be whatever they're talking about. But then again, if their main income was what they're talking about, they wouldn't have time to be selling courses. So it's kind of like,
right.
I think Mark Cuban said it best. Most of these people selling courses, if they really knew what they're talking about, they would be actually doing it, getting rich, as opposed to trying to sell you this course. But some things, though, like production, like tangible skills, I think you can't dispute that. Like if you're trying to be an engineer, and there are real engineers teaching you how to like engineer. That's kind of black and white. You know what I'm saying? That's literally like, okay, they know how to like mix, they know how to like do Pro Tools or Ableton, and this is a class on it. That's pretty straightforward.
Right.
But when it comes to like music marketing, I'm going to teach you how to like market music. Okay, where are your gold and platinum plaques at then? Who have you helped? You know what I'm saying? Like, or are you just selling me a dream? You just, telling me how to do something I could probably just do on my own. You know what I mean?
True.
So a lot of this stuff is scams, man.
I agree in some fashion. I agree. I do believe that people do have specialized skills in certain disciplines that they are able to apply to the music industry without having those types of accolades.
Yeah, right? Like how to work Logic Pro.
Right. Yeah. Well,
if you know how to work Logic Pro, you could be a wizard at it. That don't mean you ever was successful at
True.
But if you know if you can show me how to like do shortcuts and how to record and how to get my levels right, if you can show me how to do that, it's worth whatever you want to charge, I guess, whatever I want to pay for it.
I mean, so I have years of experience in corporate America, right? Teaching leaders and working with leaders at many different levels, doing business plans and leadership development, organizational development, structure, things like that, right? So I can definitely talk about, and I did in one of my videos, creating like a SWOT analysis to identify your opportunities and how to maximize those opportunities, right? Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Because I have that specialized knowledge, now it's like, how can I apply that to what we do, in the music perspective? Even though I may not have a gold plaque or a platinum plaque somewhere, the knowledge that I've gained of working with high-level CEOs can validate. You can go to my LinkedIn. That's what I tell people. Go to my LinkedIn, look at all them certifications, look at all the people that I work with, and then let's have a conversation about how I can apply this knowledge to help you grow your music business. Now, what I can't tell you to do is how to be an artist. What I can't tell you to do is how to be a musician, right? Because that's not what I do. And that's not a lot of what some people do. And that's kind of like what we were going to talk about with the person we were going to interview. But yeah, I think you just have to identify what voices you're listening to, count the cost of what it takes to really be in this industry, and then budget, plan, and organize and structure your approach effectively. There are tools that exist. When I was putting out my Overdose album in 2017, disc makers made an album planning guide. It still exists today. It showed you step by step how to release your album, right? Getting the ISRC codes, where you get those from. When should you be releasing your music? What are all the steps that you need to go through to create your album artwork? I mean, it gave you step by step everything. And there are resources. People make resources, and there are financial resources, financial tools that you can download to help you budget and identify income resources. Now, there have been people who went out and got massive credit cards and put themselves in massive debt. All right. And then it worked out, or it may not have worked out, but you got to count the cost of everything that you do, especially from a financial perspective in this industry. And I think it's just important, just artists or producers, whoever it may be, to just consider that. How I want to be in this business. How am I going to fund my business?
Yeah, and think about that ahead of time.
Think about it ahead of time
before you put the release date for your album.
Right, come out. Album coming out next week, and I don't know how I'm gonna spend some money on promotion.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna tell everybody and have them come. Like, no, you gotta. I heard that when you're putting out an album, that whatever you spend on your album, it should be the same amount you spend on your marketing and promotion.
You talking about making an album, like production?
Yeah.
Producing an album.
If you're paying for beats and producers and artwork and for all that stuff, you paying $10,000 for your album, you should spend 10 grand for your marketing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you create an album that costs 10 grand and you only market it for 500?
Right.
That's crazy. And what's crazy is that there are tools out there to help people. When I released that album in 2017, I went to Yangaroo. Right. Yangaroo was a platform that you submit your music to that submits it to all the radio stations. I could do that. I don't know if people know that they can actually do that. I actually went onto the site, signed up, paid my little, I forgot how much it was I paid because I knew I had budgeted it, right? Went there, submitted it, and then I could track it. I could actually literally go into the data section and see where that song was being played, whether it was in a club, whether a DJ played it, whether it actually got played on a radio somewhere in some country. I could go and take a look at all of that stuff. But I don't think people know those things are available because they're not really looking into those things. I don't know. I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do. I mean, I'm just saying you should budget.
Of course.
I mean, if you don't want to budget, that's up to you.
But even then, if you're going to spend 10 grand making an album, you ought to have all that mapped out beforehand.
You should.
Because if you only got 12 grand to spend on period, you might want to try to see what you can do with making this album for a little less.
With 6 grand.
Exactly, if you can.
And 6 grand with marketing.
Or maybe you got a budget for an EP. Which, by the way, they say, a lot of experts say that, and I tend to agree that if you're relatively unknown, don't put an album out just yet.
I wouldn't.
Just stick to singles,
I wanted to do it just to put out an album. Say, look, I made an album.
But even 2017, that was still, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. So it's definitely changed now.
And it only had 8 songs on it.
It's definitely changed now. You want to do, but then it's more cost effective. You can spread that 10 grand out. You can spread it out.
True.
Maybe it might cost you $700 to do a song or whatever.
It cost me that much. But
so,
Right. Because going through that process, I knew how much I wanted to spend. I didn't have to pay for any beats because I made all my own. Right. But I made all my own, but it was the cost of buying all the equipment prior to that ended up being the actual cost of that. Right. And so if you factor all that in many years ago, then yeah, that's going to be a factor in that. Paying the engineer to mix the entire thing. All the artists who were on the album, I had relationships with, and they wanted to be a part of it. So I didn't get charged by any of the artists to be on the album. It was a relatively low cost album. I think I spent more marketing the album than actually making the album. And that's the thing, right? Is if you have access to equipment, if your homeboy or homegirl they make beats, that's probably how you want to approach it. Hey, let's work something out.
Yeah.
Instead of, I got to get that producer and this producer, use your homeboy, use your homegirl, right? Go to beat leasing sites, maybe go to YouTube. And then I've known people who do it, right? They go to YouTube and they use YouTube beats to kind of get things. We talked about that last time, right? Using YouTube beats versus,
we did talk about that. Yeah.
Actual produced beats that you produce or somebody produced without, the YouTube producer tag on it and all that stuff. But quality over
get
quantity.
The stems, man. Get the stems.
Right, what you do, get the stems.
Take that tag off there.
Right.
Get a good mix on there. Or at least move the tag somewhere. Don't have a tag. Right. Just you can tell somebody stole the beat off in it because the tag is every 4 bars. Produced by Lil Jon.
Lil Jon produce.
Every 4 bars.
I used to do that when I was when I first got started in production. Like every 8 bars would be like the producing tag.
Used by Brian Vaughan.
Well, back then it was Strict 9, but
Strict 9?
Yeah, Strict 9 Music. Yeah, that was the name I went by back then. But
okay, what's Strict 9? What's that?
Strict 9 is a poison.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Strict 9 is a poison. And I explained this to Premise one day at an iStandard beat battle in St. Louis that I took second place in. And so he was like, Strict 9, that's a crazy name. And I told him the story of how I got it. My kids were homeschooled and they were watching a class on the deadliest poisons. And I just happened to walk in when they were talking about Strict 9.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh. And they were explaining everything it does to the body.
If you mess with me, it could be deadly.
Right. No, they're literally explaining everything that happens to the body once it enters your system, how the person starts to convulse and shake and their head starts to bob and their back starts to move. So I was like, my beats make you just convulse and right. And then, but ultimately it leads to death, right? Because it's a poison, right?
Okay.
So it's a poison.
It'll be your last song.
Right. It's your last song you're going to listen to. but it's poison. So, you know, I was like, yo, strychnine, that sounds dope. I like that. You know, I had a whole persona with the gas mask, you know, and I used to have biohazard.
Will you be there when you do the beat battles? Yeah, the gas mask.
Bro, yeah, the gas mask. I got pictures with the gas mask joint on. That was part of the brand.
It would just be me. Man.
It'd be me with the gas mask with strychnine at the bottom. Oh yeah. So
that back.
What's so funny is I was doing an interview. With Anatomy. I don't know if you know Anatomy. Mm-hmm. He's a producer that lives here. He's from Kansas City. Okay. And so I was doing an interview with Anatomy, and you know, then I'm Vaughan, right? I'm not Strychnine. I let go of that moniker some time ago. Okay. And we're doing this interview, and we're talking about websites and, you know, marketing and doing stuff like that. And I was like, look, cool. After the interview, I'm gonna show you some stuff when it comes to blah blah. He was like, bet. So we did the interview. We were doing the interview upstairs, and we came downstairs, and I pulled up the Strychnine site. He was like, wait, you're Strychnine? I was like, yeah. Like, he was like, you know Nab, which is my closest friend. He was like, you know Nab? I was like, yeah, that's my guy right there. He's like, man, I've known him forever. He was like, I was like, wait a minute. Not knowing that Anatomy knows a lot of the people that I know back in St. Louis. He used to do music with a lot of those people back in St. Louis. But we never made the connection until I said Strychnine. He was like, wait a minute.
That's funny.
But yeah, you know, my wife is always saying, you should bring it back. You should never love it. You should never. She has my gas mask in her office. But I used to rock the gas mask and have little symbols, the biohazard symbols.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, man. I sure did. But,
go for it.
But once again, it's thinking about how much it's going to cost you to really be in this industry. I mean, we're not going to go super in depth into what that truly is. I think that's probably something we may want to do in the future, is just bring on financial experts who are in the music industry, who have expertise in talking about finances and planning and budgeting and how to do that appropriately. I guess my point in this conversation is talking about, are you thinking about what that is? Are you planning, and are you budgeting? And are you identifying ways to maximize your income that you are receiving, whether you're getting it from your employer, whether you're getting it from your side hustles, Uber, DoorDash, whatever it may be, right? Legal means. Legal means.
Yeah, don't be going to jail, man.
Right, don't be going to jail.
Get penitentiary chances.
Right, because, man, some people, man, I ain't going to talk about half the stuff I done seen already just this week. I ain't trying to have nobody knock on my door. So I ain't gonna mention no names.
Don't do it.
No, sir. Because bored. Woo. That's a game I'm not trying to get into. Okay, second thing is dealing with criticism and rejection in music. I think it's something that people have to learn how to deal with. I've always told people you have to have in any industry, whether it's music, whether it's in corporate America, you have to have tough skin. You are going to hear no. I mean, you're absolutely going to hear no, right? And you may not hear just regular no. You may hear no. You might hear some stuff.
You might get laughed at.
You may get laughed at. Bro, I remember an artist telling me, and this artist is super dope, probably was doper than anybody that was in that room that he went into. And he told me he went into a room and he brought his instrument and they laughed at him. I can almost guarantee that these people in this room have nowhere near the musical ability that this young man has. Not at all. I can almost guarantee that. And they laughed at him. And this dude's so super talented still today. That's a different story. But how do you deal with that, right? I mean, that could have been something that crushed his. I mean, he looked up to the people that were in that room, and here they are laughing at him. And he could have taken that a hard way. He could have been like, you know what? Maybe this isn't, something I want to do. If this is how I'm going to be treated, I heard a story one day of a lady who was in a certain situation, and she just made the decision that this was not for her, just based upon the antics that happen within the music industry. I don't think it's for everybody, nor do I think it's for everybody at a certain level. I don't think everybody's prepared to be at a certain level.
But that's a whole another discussion too, though. You know,
it is,
because we were talking about doing it for the love earlier. If you're doing it for the love, then as long as you're like able to sustain yourself financially and okay with never being, forget a superstar, you don't even be a star, just a working musician,
a twinkle.
If you're a working musician,
right,
making $60,000 a year, $70,000 a year, whatever, and if that's your ceiling, and if you can be happy with that, that's realistic. As opposed to like some people, maybe you won't ever be a star.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But are you happy doing what you love? But anyway, back to the question.
No, that's. I mean, because I think that plays a part. I think that plays a part in a way that a person handles the rejection.
It does. My thing is you got to use it as fuel. Boss up or get bossed on. You know what I'm saying? So, because I remember
that as a shirt.
Straight up. That's my philosophy. Boss up or get bossed on. You know what I'm saying? And I might get bossed on a little bit, but I remember that. You know, I'm using it as fuel. I remember I interviewed what's his name? It was a producer duo. They were a big duo, big time, and they broke up. I remember me and Will, we interviewed them separately, not knowing they broke up.
Oh, really?
What were their names? But they produced for everybody. I remember him telling us when they first got to Atlanta.
Well, yeah, Mike and Keys in L.A.
Not Mike and Keys. Name another one. One of
the Olympics are.
That's Detroit.
That's Detroit. Yeah.
One of them name was Hen.
Oh, The Business.
The Business.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Henny.
Yeah. I don't remember which one it was. It was one of them. And we interviewed, and they were telling us, well, he was telling us, they first got to Atlanta, and they met with Rick Ross, and he kind of blew him off. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people get blown off.
And he was saying, like, he didn't really get offended. He just knew he had to get his weight up. And of course, they ended up working with Rick Ross later, doing some big records for Rick Ross later, but they didn't like. Now, always stuck with me because I've been in rooms with people when I kind of got little bro. It still happens now. You know what I'm saying? It still happens now. You know, I ran into some producers. Did I say it on the show?
Yeah, we talked about this.
And how they kind of like.
I gave my Murphy Lee example.
How they kind of like, you know, but it's one, I said it before, from Detroit, one of my rapper from Detroit, they kind of really blew me off. And I won't say his name, but I really didn't like that. But my view is like, you boss up or get bossed on. It's going to come a time where they ain't going to be doing that no more. You got to use it as fuel.
Right.
And I remember the business saying like, Rick Ross kind of blew them off and they didn't get offended. They just said they went back to the lab and they got their weight up. That was the exact words. We got our weight up. And now, boom.
Man, I had a close friend of mine laugh in my face at the music that I made. Literally laughed at my face. I'm like, I was stunned. Just like, he was like, man, what is this? That's when I kind of first got started. And because I'm not one of those people who have been producing at that time for a long time. I just got into it. I was like, you know what? Because I told you, I was in a singing group. And the singing group that we were in, we broke up. And, well, one of the members couldn't do it anymore, which was so funny. He couldn't do it anymore. His wife was like, nah, you can't be in that group no more. And so he like, dang, okay. And so then he had to quit. And then we just kind of lost the passion for it because in that situation. So I was like, look, we're not going to be a singing group. I'm going to figure out how to make music. This was 2006. I figured out how to make music. And so I spent some time learning just how to make music. YouTube, I probably had just started around then. Weren't really any tutorials, so I just had to try to figure it out. And so when I ended up moving from Virginia to St. Louis, my beats weren't like dope like they are today, though. Right? So they want that dope.
Strict 9, baby.
Strict 9, right? So they want that
dope. Better get your
dope.
gas mask, sorry.
Right. And so he literally laughed. Now, I could have taken that one or two ways. I could have said, you know what, dang, this guy that I look up to, phenomenal producer, has hits, eventually won a Grammy, has amazing hits, has worked with tons of artists. I could have been like, dang, that's it. Then he laughed, and I really ain't gonna make it. Or I could have said, you know what, I got to get my weight up, and that's exactly what I did. I said, you know what, I got to then get better. If he's laughing now, I'm gonna make you regret that.
For sure. Boss up or get bossed on. You
boss
understand
up
me?
Or get bossed on.
That's how I look at it.
Right. I mean, but resiliency is a big thing. people have to, I can't remember the name of the book, but it talks about having a growth mindset versus having a fixed mindset. And I actually have the book. I just can't remember the name of it. But she talks about in the book having a growth mindset and learning how to be resilient and how to be, when you're faced with challenges, how to overcome those challenges with resiliency. And that's the big thing, resiliency, having the tough skin, the ability to cope with rejection. Shoot, guys should, who was I talking to? I was not talking, yes, I was. But I was at the Game of the Gods with Ray Daniels and Dame Ritter, right? And of course, I wore all the Indie Unplugged, gear when I was there. And so a couple of people were like, oh, yeah, what's up? Ray was like, I thought I saw you. He was like, I saw the shirt. And I was like, I know what that is. And so I was next to Celeste Debro. I was talking to her and they were talking about rejection. And she was talking about how women get rejected a lot within the music industry, whether it's through sexism, whether it's just through other things that happen, which is so crazy to even do that with, you gotta, if you want to be a star, you gotta have sex with me, or you gotta do this. That's just so crazy. Like
Harvey Weinstein type stuff.
It's Harvey Diddy type, Weinstein type stuff. But I mean, you're going to face rejection, and how you handle it is going to be, it's going to either make or break. I kind of talked about that last time. I actually I put that clip up on Instagram today, and as I was going through it, part of what I was saying was that when we hire people, like when corporate America, when we hire people,
see how they
handle
rejection.
Yeah, if they do get rejected, how do you handle that? Because that shows resiliency and growth in a person to go, man, F this job, man. Y'all could have gave me this job, man. F you, man. Like, you're sucking anyway. And it's like, oh, you really weren't ready for this job because of your mindset, your attitude, and your behaviors. And if you have the right mindset, attitude, and behaviors, then you could deal with it effectively. Man, resiliency is a big part, bro. I think I've seen so many people just crash and burn when they get that no.
Well, also, you got to have a lot of confidence in yourself.
You got to have that ego.
Yeah, like shout out to Kanye West. Kanye West kind of is the poster child for having your ego. So because otherwise they're gonna crush you. So you got to know that you're so dope, almost to a delusional level.
Russ said that in his book.
Even if you're like, maybe, your stuff ain't what it is, but if you believe it, then the world will believe it. Hence, some stuff blow up. You're like, how did that blow up?
Right?
Like, how did that? They like that? People, but yeah, they believe it, and they garnered. They found their audience. They found their crowd. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, don't let nobody shake you, and don't have no fear. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the rejection. Don't be afraid of it. That's one of my biggest prayers for the last few years has been, Lord, help me to not be afraid. Help me be fearless, because I don't want to have no regret. And I got to walk into this world and just put my best foot forward. And I don't care what nobody say.
Right.
And help me to not be afraid. Because all of us got that fear of rejection and fear of what are they going to think about me, or how am I going to look? Who cares about any of that? Go for what you know. Boss up and get bossed on. Know that you dope. Know that like anybody around you that hears your work or is able to work with you is blessed. Your presence is a present. You know what I'm saying?
You got the sayings today.
But you got to believe that, though. You got to believe that. You got to believe that going into it. And therefore, if you get rejected, then they missing out on their blessing. Okay, well, as a matter of fact, let me not waste my time even dealing with this, because I got to get on to where God want me to be, because this ain't it, obviously. Right, so God bless, let me just keep it moving. But you can't let it shake you, because a lot of times people let that shake them. They let rejection make them quit. Make sure your motives are right. If you're in it for the right motives, you ain't gonna quit.
Now, and Matt, if people today quit because they gotta know, we wouldn't have KFC, right? I saw a thing today. It was like Colonel Sanders got turned down, I forgot how many times, and it was a no. But he kept pushing, and now today we have KFC, right? And J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, her manuscript was rejected by every publisher. They were like, "Nah, we don't want. We're not doing this." And then Harry Potter came out to be one of the biggest blockbuster movies and books
for sure
of all time, right? Like, now, imagine if somebody said no and no, and I mean, it does. It can be defeating to hear no over and over and over and over again. But you gotta push through it.
How many dreams have died like that? How many dreams that could have been
that's right
huge just fell by the wayside?
That's right.
You know,
that's right. Stephen King, almost the same thing. When he wrote his first movie, Christine, he was like, "This is garbage. People are not gonna like it." People thought it was trash. He literally took the script to Christine, balled it up, and threw it in the garbage. And his wife came out and took it out the garbage and looked through it and was like, "This is a masterpiece." And now, if you're a horror movie person, right, Drums and Roses, because I know you are, then you know that movie did great things. Sure. And then out of Christine came a whole bunch, Pet Sematary, and a whole bunch of a whole bunch of movies, right? But imagine if somebody told him no in the beginning, you wouldn't have the author of Stephen King.
Yeah.
Nor would you have Richard Bachman, who is Stephen King's pseudo writing name, or like, what do you call those people who write stories and books under a different name,
like an alias?
Yeah, like an alias. So not only is he Stephen King, but he's also another guy, and he wrote it under other books under different names.
His son is a writer too.
His son's a writer.
Yeah. His son actually had an alias because he didn't want to be known as Stephen King's son, so he had an alias he wrote over. So,
yep.
Yeah.
So
that's what's up.
You got to learn how to deal with rejection, right? Figure it out. There's books, there's classes, get feedback from someone, bounce ideas off of other people. I mean, there are many things that you can do to learn how to deal with rejection. Role play, kind of talk about your feelings, explore ways that you can deal with it in the most constructive way.
That's all nice. It's all fine and dandy. That's dope. But just boss up and get bossed on, man. Don't let nobody run all over you, man. Like all this role playing. Like, listen, if that's you, take advantage of that. Do the role play and do the all
Some
this
people
stuff.
Gonna need it.
But some of us, man, just boss up.
Some people ain't made for bossing.
Just boss up, and if they ain't rocking with you, screw them.
Now that part I would
get
say
out my
is true.
face. I ain't got time to deal with you.
That part I would say is true. But that comes from having a healthy ego, having confidence and competence, right?
Yeah.
And so if you have that, some people don't.
And don't get me wrong. I got role playing for, if you want to prepare for an interview, let's say you meet somebody important and you don't want to get flustered. You want to practice the call. I get all that.
Yeah. And the person says no. How are you going to handle it? Oh, I think this is the way I'm going to say it. And I'm going to say this. What if they just adamant about no? Okay, then I know to move on and then to go another trajectory with another person. Hey, appreciate it.
I see you at the top.
I see you at the top.
See you at the top, buddy boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Homegirl.
All right. Branding. Once again, I am no way a marketing expert, branding expert. I just watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Be consistent. Just be consistent. Like find, you want to show up in everybody, because branding is about showing up and being in their face. You want them to think of you or see. You want to pop up as much as you can. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that can be grassroots, meaning like free, just by getting on your phone and being consistent by posting every day, commenting on whatever your subject matter is, whatever your field is. Find out all the communities, all the pages for that, and participate every single day. You know what I'm saying? With meaningful stuff, not just owner just trolling or owner, hey, I'm the new rapper, I'm the new singer. No, bring meaningful content or meaningful views to the conversation consistently. So you want to be known for, if you, let's say you do like horror rap, I guess, horror rap. They used to call it horrorcore. I don't know what they call it now. But
rapping about horror stuff.
And those communities show up, consistently and post content about it consistently. Well, I'm a big horror movie fan as well. If you couldn't figure that out.
I used to be. I haven't watched horror movies in a long time, but yeah.
I am. I'm big into that, man. Yeah. I love Halloween. Like, you know, I did a whole Halloween. Me and Steve Keys, we did a whole Halloween instrumental album a few years ago. And I'm still think it's my best body work I ever did. I'm still proud of that now. I'm a horror. Like, look, I'm a good guy, friend to the end. You know, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
I peeped it when you walked in.
Listen, man, I just saw Smile too last weekend. Masterpiece. Like, I'm a big, but not the off track, but if that's your vibe, for example, when we put that album out, really every year, I didn't do it this year, but every year, because it came out in 2021, I believe. Every year, the whole October, I'm in the community, participating. You know, adding, talking about my favorite horror movies and putting up horror content with the music in the background. You know, it's about, you know, being synonymous with whatever you stand for. So whatever your lane is, you know, you in a positive motivational lane. You want to be known in those communities. You want to participate. You want to show up and put out content consistently.
That's right.
And those are the free things, you know, and then you can get into the paid things with promotions and, you know, having the logo, etc.
Right.
You know,
I think we talked about this before. I think we talked about this whole branding and marketing, at least branding as an artist before. Because I remember us talking about, and we were talking about, was it truly important? Do artists consider it to be important today to brand? Now, I'm not saying you got to brand like McDonald's or like Nike.
Why not?
You should.
Why not?
You should. You actually should.
Why not? Know what you stand. Know who you are.
Let me retract that. You really should be branding.
But it starts with knowing who you are as an artist. What do you stand for? Like, what's your story? What is your meaning? Who are you? And you build your brand around that.
That's right.
What are you passionate about? When your career is over, when you're dead and gone, what do you want to be like? The thing that resonates about you, and you build out from there.
That's right.
So you got to know who you are.
You got it. I mean, I think that's the first.
And you got to have a logo.
First step.
A logo to represent that. You know.
You got to have logos. So when I think about it, that was the first thing I thought about was defining your visual identity, right? What does the visuals say about you and your overall brand, right? Is it cohesive, right? Do you have, and I mean, even down to the identification of your brand colors. Like, for the longest, I don't know if people know, but if you look at my brand colors, I'm sure you can tell what colors, the two colors that are there the most, right? Red, black, and of course white. And then there is a gold, right? There is an actual gold. If you go to the website, you see some of the branding, there is gold in there. And I'm like, this color here is 79000D, right? Trust me, I memorize these things. I know exactly what these colors are. D4A F37. How do I know? Because I use tools that tell me, and I know these colors by heart. And so whenever I put out content or and I didn't make these gold right here, but you would notice there's a lot of things that are black, red. My wife was like, why you always get the dark colors? I don't know. There's something about those colors that I like black, red, and actually this is not even red. This is like dark maroon or something like that. That thing is red. So I didn't want to go with a bright, like red type of color. But you should have consistency in your visual identity from a color perspective, right? If you go look at all the logos for all of the major brands, they have a black and white, they have a color. They may have another color that they use for other certain types of things, but mostly it's a black and white, and it's a color version of that same logo that they use all the time on their websites, on their merchandise, things like that. But the brand they don't have, this logo looks different on this one and versus it looking different here. That's part of the brand identity. When you see the Nike swoosh, you think Nike. When you see the golden arches, you think McDonald's, right? You know that these things are, you see the three stripes, you know that's Adidas or Adidas, that I learned somewhere down the line that it was really pronounced Adidas.
Oh, dogs, Detroit are 7 Mile.
Right.
Adidas. That was a gang in Detroit.
Oh, really?
Adidas gang, yeah. Well, no, it was a 7 Mile I don't want to get
right.
But yeah, it's a 7 Mile game, but it was all dogs in Detroit at 7 Mile. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody cleverly can come up as a brand though. They branded themselves. Did they all wear? Did they all wear?
Dream about.
Did they wear Adidas?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. See, that's the brand.
Top 10 Adidas.
Right. Run DMC. All they wore back in the day were Adidas. I mean, they still do. When I saw DMC in LA, guess what he had on his feet?
Oh, I hope he had on Adidas.
Adidas.
Yeah.
He had shoestrings in them though.
Hopefully they still breaking bread with Run DMC.
I hope so, because Run DMC helped put Adidas on the map, and especially in the Black community. When you saw them rocking those Adidas, oh, you were like, I gotta get those. And they step on stage at Live Aid.
Yeah.
Come on now. You wanted Adidas. And that's how you got to think about your own brand as an independent artist. When you walk into that room, people should be able to see that. I'm telling you, that's how, when I said that, when I was at the Game of the Gods, I had on the stuff. I'm in a room full of people, right? Ray Daniels may not see me and go, hey, what's up, B? But when he saw the shirt, he was like, yo, what's good? He said, I thought that was you. He said, I saw the shirt. Your brand should be noticeable. It should be recognizable. It doesn't cost that much to create your brand. This logo was made in Canva. I was going through all the different fonts and different logos. I was like, oh, yo, that's dope. I like that. And boom, $12.99, because that's how much I pay for the Canva monthly subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how much that logo costs. Figure it out, right? Find your brand colors. Think about your visual identity. What do you want to be a representation of you as an artist? And of course, apply that consistently. As Beism is saying, how does that consistently apply to you? I've seen people do all types of things. Wear the shirts, wear hats. They got phone cases, slip covers for laptops, business cards, all type. I mean, I think we live in an era now where business cards have become almost obsolete, because now you have digital tools like Hi Hello and some other platforms where you could create an actual digital business card. I don't think I carry business cards with me anymore. Somebody says, hey, can I get your business card? Cool. I go to my Hi Hello app. They scan because who doesn't have a phone? Especially a smartphone. They scan the little QR code. All my information pops up right there. They click save contact. Everything's in their phone. Website, everything is right there. So I think people just have to be conscious. I think people need a website. That's just my own personal thing as far as having a brand.
Yeah, it's branding.
You gotta have a place to point people. Yeah. Your Instagram is not your website. Your Facebook is not your website. TikTok is not your website.
But right? But even so though, even with that, like you can, because I did this for years with my company Shoe Game 2011.
Yeah.
For years, I would have a website. Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I would. Sometimes I wouldn't. But I always had Shoe Game 2011 go to wherever my shoes were sold.
That's right.
So if it's an eBay page, you would still, instead of giving them an eBay link, they type in Shoe Game 2011 and go right to my eBay page.
Right.
So you're still having that brand. Yes, eBay, but they're not typing in eBay. They're typing in Shoe Game 2011. So you can have a landing page. You can have littlepooPooRecords.com.
Little Poo Poo Records.
They click it and go to your link tree. To your link tree. And
Small little droplets.
And it shows all your platforms where your music is.
Yeah.
But they go into littlepooPooRecords.com. They click it and they see. So it's so you can get a domain name and just redirect it.
Yeah.
That's minimum level.
Minimum.
Get you a domain name. It don't cost a lot of money.
It doesn't.
But brand yourself, get it, and then of course build out a website when you can. But at the very least, get your brand name domain.com or .whatever.
That's right.
.com preferably, and go for it.
That's right. And even I love that, because I have WeCreateMusic.tv, and it goes to our Substack platform. But you're not typing in any other. You're typing in WeCreateMusic.tv, and I can direct it to any place that I want it to go to. Right. That's the beauty of having a domain name. They're cost effective. You can register them for like 5 years, and you don't have to worry about 5 years from now. Right.
For sure.
That really should be part of your branding efforts. that should be part of your brand. If you ain't got that, we got to talk for sure.
Every day in every way, you're promoting your brand when you wake up in the morning.
And then, I also think I talked about this last time, but consistency in like your social media handles. For me, that's a big thing. For sure. Because I see people who I've heard somebody, when I was at that Game of the Gods event, somebody was like, "Hey, so where can we find you?" Well, on Facebook, I'm this, but on Instagram, I'm this. But on TikTok, you can find me under this name. It's like, I should be able to find you anywhere with the same name. I should just be able to type it into Google and it pops up with all your stuff, right? You put in We Create Music TV in the search engine, you're going to see We Create Music TV on everything.
Good point. You want to make it easy. You want to make it easy, and you want it to translate easy. So if they're enjoying you on one platform, but they really prefer this platform, they can find you easily on the platform of their choice.
That's right.
Some people are going to like Facebook. Some people going to like TikTok, but it shouldn't be hard to find you. Make it easy.
Make it easy, right? I always tell people, make it easy for people to do business with you, and that is a representation of.
Talk about McDonald's. I'm sure you can find McDonald's on any platform you want to.
Any platform.
Their page. I'm sure you can find them wherever you go to.
At McDonald's. Not at McDonald's Eats on Facebook, the McDonald's, burgers on Instagram. No, McDonald's, same name.
Yeah, I think the point is when it comes to branding, you want to think of yourself like a big brand. Even as an independent, small, you want to think of yourself like you doing big things.
You do. I would agree. 100%. And if you're not, you should. And if you're not, let's talk about it. I got some. I'm not a branding expert, but I do know some things about branding. Look, matter of fact, I got a whole marketing and branding master class.
There you go.
Right on the site, wecreatemusic.tv.
There you go. Sign up.
It's right up there for you. Okay, last thing, which I think is a part of this, is effective email strategies. We use email every day.
Yeah.
But people aren't using it as a strategy.
I get emails all the time from all kind of stuff.
I get emails all the time.
And it's funny because I don't cancel them because I know I need them, whether it be like my kid's school or, from Nike. Because I'm a sneaker guy. So I definitely wanted to hear what they got to say in my email. Nike, Jordan, all that stuff. StockX, you hate to get it, but at the same time, you want to hold on. If you provide value in your emails, if you provide and they really rock with you, keep it consistent. And here's the thing. That's how you know you're real fans. Those that stay on that email list. Because they can unsubscribe anytime. But if they stand on it, it's a chance. Because even then, you're going to have a smaller open rate.
Right.
And out of that open rate, you're going to have even smaller people who take action on it.
Right.
But the fact that they're still on there is a good start.
That's right.
So you want to build the email list up and stay consistent with them, because as long as they're getting it, they'll open it. Because maybe your title wasn't catchy enough for them this week. But and I say week because you want to do it at least once a week.
At least once a week.
Email your people. But maybe the title wasn't catching it. But at some point, oh, really? Oh, let me read this right here. This might be, and it might be something that, pull them in. But always have something good in your email, some good information that'll help them about whatever your artistry is. Some appealing, and then give them an opportunity to do something. Click here to go to Spotify.
Have a CTA, right? Call to action.
Click here to buy a shirt. But you gotta provide value first.
That's right.
But at least once a week, though. That's what I say.
I said minimum at least once a week. I know we do twice a week. We do interview and we do a podcast at least twice a week. Once a week minimum. If you can, you should be doing once a week, right? But the thing is, how do people build an email list, right? If you don't have a website, how are you collecting email addresses? If you don't have a MailChimp, like MailChimp is a great place to start. Right, you can build a list. I think they give you like 1,000 contacts for free. Then you got to go to a paid subscription, right? You can have you can take the MailChimp link, put it in your bio, and then you could send out communications like that. We used to have one back in the day. It was called Constant Contact.
Yep,
you remember that?
I remember that.
And then you could actually create like a newsletter type deal with stories and headlines and send it out to people weekly and inform your fans of concerts and merch and you know, what's going on in the community with you as an artist and new music and blah, 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 right? I don't think people do that anymore. I was talking to one of my homies from St. Louis, Rec Riddles, and he talks about every time he goes to a show, he has a collection of emails that he gets. Like he has a person walking around, hey, you want to stay in contact with Rec Riddles? Boom, let's get your email. Now let's collect your email. Go ahead and sign here. When people come in to the door, hey, go ahead and put your email down. That way we can get in contact with you, you know, to talk about new music and new merch. And he's building a huge list. Because what happens if Instagram or TikTok or YouTube go down? How do you still engage with, with your audience?
They claim TikTok going down in January. You heard that?
I didn't hear that.
TikTok is going to be shutting down in January.
I was going to shut that. They got their way.
Everybody's it's rumors.
See.
They're saying
we'll see.
Down. But yes, that's very important though. Getting your own data, direct to consumer. Let's say Instagram might not go down, but your Instagram might go down. They might just say, you know what, Brian, we don't want yours.
And they got the right to do that.
You're out of here and you got to start from scratch.
They got the right to do that. It's their platform.
Yeah. So getting that data is very important.
I agree, which is why you got to have a website. Now, so for us, We Create Music TV, what I love about the platform that we have, and my wife introduced me to this platform. She was like, you ever heard of Substack? I was like, no, what is that? It's a journalism platform where you have people who are in journalism that write news stories that are free from, political influence, and it's like a freedom of speech platform. But Substack allows you to create an email newsletter and maintain a list of all your contacts, but also to create additional content. Like they're about to launch matter of fact, they just launched a live thing you can do from your phone. So if you wanted to go live to your Substack audience, your email list, this is really what it is. Your email list, you could do it from your phone and go live and connect with the people who are within your community on your mailing list. And they could chime in right at that moment. I'm just waiting for them to get a live version on the actual desktop. I don't want to do it on my phone, but on the desktop where I could do that. I can do live. You mean to tell me I can do live? I don't have to go to YouTube and do a live event. I can do a live event directly to my email list.
Right.
You know how powerful that is? I heard Wendy Day talk about it wasn't her. It was her. It was on Cheat Code. Okay. When they used to do the Cheat Code, which is on a hiatus at the moment. Mark, I think his name is Mark, Rap Juggernaut, talked about this. He said, if you think about content today and email, it was about email lists. He said, people are starting to create platforms where you can receive information that you want directly to your inbox. He said, I don't have to go through the rigmarole of searching YouTube, finding the content that I'm looking for. I can get it directly to my inbox. And that is the power of an email list. It is actually yours.
Mm-hmm.
You control it. You maintain it. People are going to subscribe it. Trust me, I've had people unsubscribe and subscribe to We Create Music TV every week. Oh, you got 3 new subscribers. Oh, you got 3 unsubscribes. I eventually had to turn that off. I had to turn off the unsubscriber thing though. I did. I was like, I don't want. You know what? I don't care if you don't want to rock with us and you unsubscribe. I don't want to know.
Do what you got to do to control your peace, man.
Right. I had to. I was like, nah.
Control your mental.
I got to turn that off. Same thing with YouTube. You know, I understand when people subscribe, I get a little notification. I wish you just had a way to download the YouTube subscriber data with their email address and keep that. But every time we do a show, whether it's a live event, whether it's a online event, I collect all the email addresses of people who register and they go into my email list. That is in the disclaimer. By attending this event, you agree to be part of We Create Music TV's emailing list so that you can be notified of future events, blah, 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 right? You have the ability to opt. That's the biggest thing, the ability to opt out. Because if you don't give people the ability to opt out, now you just become,
predatory.
You're trying to, right? You're trying to take your email list hostage, and that's not the purpose of it. But I do agree with the time. find a time that works best for you and your email list subscribers, right? Our emails go out every Tuesday and every Thursday at 7:00 on the dot. Right now, sometimes there may be a hiccup, but they all go out at the same time. And it's that consistency. So every week, 7:00. I may need to change the day, the time, may need to get it earlier, but I haven't had any issues yet. Maybe I'll play. And that's the thing, right? Is playing around with the timing to look at those open rates to go, is it being open as much as it could be during this time versus another time? And so that's something as well that people have to think of. I just don't think many people are using email lists today. It sounds like archaic.
It's not though.
Right.
It's not.
You're using an email list?
Yeah, it's not archaic at all.
It sounds archaic. Email list. Well, we're on social media now.
It only sounds archaic to people who don't know what they're doing.
Right.
No, email lists are important, man. Email and the SMS marketing.
Yes, sir.
Those two. SMS is a little more invasive.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be real bold.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? To text somebody's phone. But email is kind of the good medium.
Right.
But they're both, I would save SMS for the super, super fans.
Yeah.
That really want to get in the know.
Yeah.
And, text them.
Yep.
Or when it's something real urgent, maybe.
Yeah, there's a group that I follow. Which
like a pop-up in your city. I'm going to text everybody if I'm going to Detroit. Everybody with the 31324, whatever is area codes in Detroit, pop-up shop, boom. I'm going to go all stops,
But you can only do that if you got the information.
Yeah.
If you're collecting the information, right? There's a group that I follow. I think they're hands down one of the best groups I've ever heard. To this day, like, these dudes are, loyalty is timeless. These dudes are, oh, man. Trust me, bro, if I had the financial capability to have a record label, I would sign those dudes today. Like, yeah, I'm signing them. Oh my gosh, bro, these dudes are top notch. But I'm subscribed to their SMS. And so they'll send out messages. Hey, we about to perform at this venue. Y'all should come out. It's for their super fans, for people who really, truly want to rock with them and get information. Now, you can join their email list, but you can also join their SMS community where you're getting that, and you can text them back and they'll respond, right? Because it's a like a community. But that's what I love about Substack also. It's because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, for those who are watching this, you want to learn more about building an email list, Substack is the place to go. If you can just send out quick blasts, you can just write, hey, I'm having this event. Y'all want to come out? Here's where you can buy your tickets. Here's where it's going to be. Boom. Send it out to your mailing list. And then you could have chat conversations with people in your mailing list on your device. It's kind of like MailChimp and Twitter and a webpage all in one. It is like so dope because you have this thing called notes where people post up notes or tweets, but they post up notes and you can interact with those notes just like you do on X or whatever it's called now. But learn about it. Learn these tools, these tactics, these strategies to help you. Yes, it is great to do music, but I don't think that's the full story. There has to be other things you're doing, right? I mean,
in order to make the music go.
Yeah, how do you make the music go? Yeah, great. I just put out, I got an EP with 6 songs on it and it sounds great. Well, 5 songs. So it sounds great. But I had nobody to connect it with.
Yeah,
to send
again,
it to.
When it comes to the budget, the promotion, all that, you got to plan ahead of time. Plan ahead of time. What they say, failure to plan is planning to fail.
John Wooden.
So
that's the John Wooden right there.
Just plan ahead of time and make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. You don't got to be perfect.
Yep.
If you mess up, circle the bases and go up the bat again. Swing it again.
That's
and
right.
Keep going till you get it right.
That's right.
Never, ever give up. You know what I'm saying?
What's the phrase? Boss up and get bossed on?
Boss up and get bossed on,
That's
baby.
Right. Boss up and get bossed on.
Now is your time. If you're watching this, now is your time. This is your sign you've been waiting on to get started. Now, take this stuff. We ain't just talking about this for no accident. It's a reason we're talking about this. It's for you. You is sitting there just listening or watching this. We came up with this. The universe put this all together so you can get started now. Don't delay. You don't gotta be perfect. You don't gotta like be flawless. Flaws and all. Start, man. You'll learn as you go.
Sure.
But go.
But go. But man, B. That's it, man. That's all. That's it. Sir. That's it, y'all.
Yes, sir.
That's it. I am rocking a shirt over there, the Chucky shirt though.
Oh yeah, friend to the end, baby. Heidi ho, friend to the end.
Heidi ho,
friend to the end, baby.
Friend to the end. You know, here's the thing. As we close, here's the thing. I never understood how Chucky was actually running around murdering people though. I'm like, you got this little doll. I'm about to kick you. But then I thought about it. I was like, yo, in this little doll, still the strength of a grown man.
That's Charles Lee Ray in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's a menace, okay?
Like a big, menace. A man still in that small little body. It's like, how? It's like an ant. If an ant became a murderer and can lift.
Chucky is a menace, man.
Chucky. What I didn't like was The Bride of Chucky. I didn't really like that movie. I'm like, where'd she come from?
Yeah.
Where'd she come from? Like,
Don Mancini is the creator
somebody else
of Chucky.
Got possessed by
he kind of
possessed a doll.
Yeah.
Come on now.
The Curse of Chucky was good though. They kind of righted the ship a little bit with The Curse of Chucky. And the Chucky TV series was good the first season. The last 2 seasons kind of got out.
What about the Chucky cartoon?
It was a cartoon?
No, it wasn't. I'm just saying. Cartoon. Imagine there's a Chucky Saturday morning cartoon.
They canceled the Chucky show, but they're supposed to be doing a movie
called Heidi Ho. It's all about Chucky and his friends. Oh my gosh, bro.
I'm a good guy. Your friend to the end.
Good guy, but he doesn't murder people in there. He's just a good guy. He's your friend to the end. But him and his buddies, they help solve mysteries.
That's funny. That's a multiverse Chucky. Right
that's there. A multiverse Chucky. But I'm sure somebody will do it though. But man, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. We out. Peace.
We out.